minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see the Tampa Bay? No. Yeah, the Bucks game. I didn't see it.
Well, we watched the first half.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
and
second half was.
yeah, and then it's like they were getting blown away, so Gary and I turned to watch something.
Yeah.
It was probably his last night.
Yeah. You think so?
I don't know, it's hard to say. It's like, why did you do that? Yeah, we know he always comes back.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for. I almost texted my
Yeah.
sister-in-law because they were jumping on his grave.
Oh, yeah.
So hard.
Yeah, but we watched that. It's Bills.
I did too.
Bills now.
Yeah, that was it. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed that.
Yeah,
Mm.
definitely a good game.
Yeah, and I felt I'd be happy either way.
I really like the Bills.
Me too.
Yeah, I felt good with the Bills. Like, right now.
That's good.
Not too good, but. Yeah, I'm supporting. Europa.
Garoppolo?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, that, I mean, well, I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
I think I will.
Yeah.
Because that's my nephew is coming back from, fighting back from his terrible cancer. It's been his lifelong team.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe I'm proud. Yeah. Yeah. Have a good one.
You too.
I like that one.
Bye, Taylor. Bye. Good night.
Yeah, I love that one. No.
I know, that's why I got a, and I just had it off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, have a great weekend.
You too.
Are there any more playoff games this weekend?
There's the,
Cincinnati?
yeah, Bengals, and that'll be that game. I think you can watch it.
Yeah.
But I'd probably watch the 49ers.
Oh, enjoy.
Yeah, you too.
See ya.
Yeah.
Hi, George.
How's it going?
It's going.
Yeah, keeping you busy, I hope.
Yeah. Oh, I even had a call from the AG's office today.
Oh, shoot, what's that about?
Oh, that they are they're having the sheriff deliver a subpoena tomorrow, and they wanted to give me the heads up.
A subpoena to you,
Well, to the
Select-
town.
to the town?
Yeah. So it turned out it sounded really scary at first, but it turned out it's just, it's just regular business and it's fine.
So
But
what do
it
you
was,
think so while I got you, what do you think of the governor's budget?
hi, Melissa.
Hi, Melissa.
I dug into all the chapter 70 stuff. And so we're getting an increase of $3,000.
Yeah, the usual. That's a joke.
But
It is,
we
it's a
didn't
joke.
lose anything.
No, I
but
agree, with you, George.
True.
But if they do that hold harmless, if they get rid of hold harmless on Amherst, they can lose $500,000 or $1 million.
Yes, I know. I did watch the video that AJ sent from the region. It was everything AJ pretty much told us. There's clearly support from everybody on the school board for the budget. They're not going to cut that budget. I know you know this. The one interesting thing I heard, I don't know what AJ thought of it, but Allison McDonald was saying, we should consider ourselves lucky because if we didn't have 4 towns, we probably couldn't have the level of support and the services that we have in our school. And our curriculum probably wouldn't be as good as it is because we're 4 different towns. I don't know how true that is, but I certainly liked hearing it. you know, and she's Amherst, right? Oh, you're on mute, Becky.
Oh. Yeah, any appreciation we can get. Hi,
Yeah,
Peg.
that's the way I look at it, you know, and we bring in a little more extra revenue than the rest because of our need. So that should also be recognized.
Yep.
Melanie
wait.
cannot make it.
Wait,
Melody
now
cannot
call
make
it to order.
Okay, well, let's call this Personnel Committee meeting to order. And I would once again like to change the agenda a little bit. I always like to start by reviewing the last minutes. It just
I'll
makes-
try to, if you send me a draft and I'll put it in just the way your stuff, well, I'll send you what I think should go in and then you can put in the
Oh, yeah.
right order. So I do it the right order for you.
It's only for just to get, I like to review what we did at the last meeting so I can get my head set for the current meeting.
That's what that's what most committees do.
Yeah, so Becky, let's do that, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
So George, thank you for the minutes.
You're welcome.
And I didn't have, what about section 2, classification schedule? Did anybody have any concerns or questions about that? Have people had a chance to review that? I wondered on C, April, did you find out if that the job classification tool was available to Shutesbury? Did you find out about that?
Well, just recently, but let's approve the minutes first and then we can go into that.
Okay, good.
Okay,
Help.
That sounds good. And one thing, George, on E, under section 2, April and Becky and added these 5 criteria. I don't know. I don't think you want and in there.
right.
Okay, added these 5 criteria to the S-class system to present rather than and present. Use the S-class system to present at the next meet.
Okay, got
You
it.
have that down?
April and Becky added these 5 criteria to the S-class system present at
To present.
our next meeting.
Yes.
So it was
Okay.
5 new categories.
Yep.
So
Okay.
Supervision was there.
Okay.
I think this broke it down a little more. It was supervision given.
It had different, yeah, I'm not sure that I wouldn't explain that we added these 5. Were there, I thought
I thought there was 3 added.
3.
I thought there was 3 added, but I had 5 things. So I was confused by that. That's what I wrote in my email when I sent out the minutes.
How about considered?
Yeah. It's supervision scope received and given is how this it looked at it.
Say it again, April.
It was supervision scope, supervision received, and supervision given. Just how it was teased out a little differently.
Yeah, there's 3
If I
new
just say
supervision.
supervision received and given,
Right.
that's good enough?
Yep, it'll make sense later.
Oh, good. Because it doesn't make sense to me. All right, I did that. I made that change. Supervision received and given, and then I made the changes that Peg suggested for the sentence below that.
Okay. And on 3, the personnel board voted to fund the 23 budget budget without the S.
Yeah, I'm going to make it single. Yep.
At the appropriate number of hours. I had a
what this
question mark
meant.
there and I don't know why, for non-benefited employees.
Was
I don't
this
know
about the benefit level, the number of hours that employees would work
Uh-huh. I
for
think,
benefits?
yeah, I don't know why I put a question there. Well, moving on.
Well, I don't think it's a
know
very
what
clear sentence.
You do or you don't?
I don't. The personnel board voted to fund the 23 budget at the appropriate number of hours for non-benefit employees. What are we
What does that
really
mean?
saying?
That's maybe why I had a question there.
Yeah.
That's what I had in the notes, you know,
Yeah,
and I couldn't remember what it was, but I think it refers to the number of hours where a person gets benefits.
Oh, that's
appropriate number of hours for non-benefited. For the appropriate number of hours for.
Have we had a vote?
It says we voted. That's what George
Yeah.
told us.
Yeah.
We must have.
We must have voted.
I'm trying to remember, and I'm sorry, I could not remember it, but this is what I had written down.
Yeah.
My memory's not so good anymore.
Well, join the crowd.
Mine's the same. Too young for that.
Yeah,
Yeah, you weren't invited.
you've always been advanced.
Oh, thank you. Well, much on the mind causes it too when you have too much going on.
Yeah, well, that's what it is.
Okay.
This was December 8th, right?
16.
Okay, December 16th. Right.
Yes, December 16th.
Mm,
How many absent here?
I don't know. I just can't.
Yeah, I apologize for this. I just wish I had.
You're doing so much. You're doing all the stuff that you're sharing, screen sharing, and you're doing that. I just couldn't remember. That's why I had a question there. I could not remember. And I didn't have anything in my notes.
No, the only thing I took note on, I was taking notes on what we were proposing for salary changes. I made a note, pay people what they are worth. But I don't think we voted on that.
No, I don't recall. And that does remind me, after January, and I'll do it, we'll have to look at what the CPI looks like and do the salary calculation for the upcoming fiscal year.
Yeah, I thought about that yesterday.
You know what I think is going to happen? I think it's going to be more than 4%. We have a 4% ceiling, so I think we're just going to use 4% for the most recent year.
Yeah, I had a friend tell me that their Social Security went up 5.9.
Yeah, my husband's went up 5.9.
Holy mackerel. And
Yeah,
Medicare went up a huge amount.
right. People paying for Medicare actually are losing money in the deal, is what I heard.
Yeah. Is it 107 or 170? Let's say, what was it? 107 a month more?
Yeah, that's a lot.
I think that's
In
what it was.
cost?
$107 more per month for Medicare.
Yeah, people have been complaining that the extra income they got in Social Security wasn't enough to cover the increase for their Medicare. For the people, I think it's for what, the Advantage plan or one of the plans?
Yeah.
I know.
Well, so maybe because we can't quite figure, at the appropriate number of hours for non-benefited.
I didn't see it in my notes anywhere.
Seems like what we were looking at was the, the appropriate pay rate.
Right, that's the project we've been working on, but did we talk about hours that people work and what the benefited cutoff line is? And we agreed not to change that. That's what I think I'm referring to, but God,
I can't help. I just don't have it in my notes at all.
No, me neither.
well, then and Becky, it's not something you took action on.
I don't think so.
Well, then I
mean,
think we should delete it.
Depending what
Then
it really is.
Yeah, well, then we should delete it.
I think so too.
Or we should watch the meeting all over again.
Oh, that's true. We could watch the meeting.
Yeah, Becky,
I'm
if you
sorry
can
I
send me the
wasn't there.
meeting,
I
I'll
can't
watch
give
the
you any
meeting.
information.
You probably could.
That's a good
All
point.
right.
Well, Becky, send me the meeting and I'll see if I can untangle this and I'll present these minutes. I'll send these minutes to everybody before our next meeting.
Okay. Thank you,
All
George.
right.
All right.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely do that. But before we do move on, let's just look at the rest of it and let me know if there's anything else.
Okay, 4 looked great. 5, I just had a question myself. Under B, the latest county wages for COG, has that been published yet? Was it?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
if you read my email, it's been published. We received it. I sent it to everybody. And I
Oh.
also updated our analysis. In fact, I'm hoping I can show everybody what I did.
I'm
But
so
right now,
excited.
And
Wait, Becky, what?
I'm so excited. George has already incorporated all the FY21 that
great.
just came out.
Great.
Yeah, we're further behind than we thought.
Yeah, unfortunately, so you did get it,
Yeah.
right? Everybody did see it?
I
Yeah,
did,
I
yeah.
glanced
I
through
printed it out. If anybody needs a printed copy, I can make one for you.
And I'll be able to share the screen when we talk about this as well.
Great, great,
Hey,
wonderful.
Becky, can you toss a printed one in my box at some point?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Anybody
for
else
this.
want one?
Not for this, but it's to add it to the.
I just-
papers
I
for the-
printed, well, what you're talking, if you're talking about what George sent out, I printed that out myself here.
Okay,
Me
So,
too. I don't need a copy.
okay.
okay, and the last thing was, I don't know if you changed this or not. Number 6, next meeting is January 27th today, rather than the 20th, because
Right,
down
but
at
at
the
the
bottom,
time it
George
was
sent
the
number
20th,
6.
so at
Oh,
the
we
time
didn't
it
know
was the
then, So we
20th,
can't change it.
right?
Oh, okay. Okay, those were my, did anybody else
No,
have any questions or concerns? Okay, so let's vote to accept the minutes. All those in favor? Rob?
Well, Peg, let me watch the video and I'm probably gonna make one change. I'll improve the wording on number 4 and we can
Okay.
vote on this in our next meeting.
Okay. All
And
right,
that'll be the only thing we'll have to look at. So we should be able to go through these real quick.
okay,
This one real quick.
fine, that's good. So we will postpone the vote on these minutes.
okay.
And I need to send that to you, George.
I'll remind you if I don't get it in a couple of days.
Postpone.
So getting back to the classification schedule.
Yes, April, right? Do we want to go back to that now?
Yeah, well, actually, Becky has been able to locate a copy of the Amherst tool. Was under a rock.
Oh, we had it.
So we're going to start, we're going to try using it next week and just sit down and you separately grade each of the job descriptions that we have that are that are current and see how the scoring goes.
Yeah, the recommendation in the manual is to have 2 people doing it and then aligning those 2 people. I mean, then, so of course, when we get to my job description, somebody else is going to have to work with April.
Okay,
Yeah.
Becky, I can do that if you feel comfortable.
Oh, of course, that'd be great.
So you
And
said you located the current schedule that Shutesbury uses?
oh, I
No,
have the schedule Shutesbury uses. What our goal has been is to modernize it because it's 30 years old.
Yes,
And there's been a shift in how they weight categories, trying to lessen the sexism and issue,
right, some of the biases that are in it, yes.
yeah, to really foster equity of pay across. I mean, to address equity issues, so gender
Mhm.
discrimination isn't
What was,
reflected in the schedule
but
or
April,
any biases.
what was it that we found under a rock?
The Amherst
Oh, okay,
classification schedule
got it.
with all the elements needed for us to move ahead and do ours.
and that, yeah. It was under a rock.
what
Got
does that mean? Was it really under a rock?
No, it was,
As you recall, April called the company that wrote it up. Because Amherst told us it was copyrighted.
Yeah,
We reached out a couple of times and they did not respond to us. So we're thinking of just using it,
gotcha.
which we didn't want to say during a video recorded thing, but.
Right, so what's the next step?
And
then?
I will email her and try to get permission
yeah.
for it.
That sounds good. I can't imagine why they wouldn't.
Because they rather have us pay $65,000.
We're negotiating with them about what we pay at the region and they don't like our position. So they probably aren't going to be feeling like they want to give us anything.
Yeah, that's probably true.
No, Amherst
talk
was
to-
happy, ready and willing to share their report. It's the company,
The
HR something, SI.
Yeah, yeah.
But you're going to
Okay,
ask
look-
Amherst, Becky.
No, we already asked Amherst.
Okay, so you're going to ask the company.
Again, yeah, I actually reached out to her the end of December and never heard back. So a follow-up would not be a bad idea. Either Becky or I could do that. Just a follow-up.
I can do it.
Our
if you want.
associates.
Or we can,
Okay. We could do it together.
while we're using the schedule.
Right.
Well, let's just leave it under the rock for now.
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I forgot to copy the agenda that Becky had posted. So let's move on.
So I will get it for you.
I have it up on the screen. I can read you what the next item is.
Do you want to
Thank-
share your screen so Peg can see?
Yeah, I meant to copy it and I forgot.
Okay, give me 1 second, Peggy. Becky, do I have permission?
I'm working on it. I had to move my thing over.
Okay.
There you go.
Share screen. Number 1. Share. Can everyone see that?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
you're welcome.
So here we go to job descriptions and the salary charts. Shall we do that next?
Yeah.
Okay.
Since we already did
We did-
classification.
In case anyone wants to share those documents. So I'll stop. There you go. I'll put it back up.
Okay, so on job description, we do have, the fire chief study committee has some recommendations for a couple of changes in Walter's job description. That I don't know if you want to do them at our next meeting, and I'll send out the job description so people can look at it ahead.
That would be good. I think we should do that.
Okay,
Do other people agree with that?
Yes.
Okay.
and April, do you remember what the changes were?
I should, shouldn't I? I'm not remembering. I know one thing that came up was the residency requirement. Is that what you're talking about?
No, but that was an interesting thing that the residency requirement is not in the job description, but it's in his contract.
Oh.
But he's really advising we keep it out of the job description because we won't get anybody.
That makes sense to me. We're going to limit ourselves tremendously.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
I mean, that's not a commentary on the people in our town. I don't know who's in our town and what their skill sets are, but we have a small population.
Yeah, and you can't, when you're looking, you can't limit to the town. You really got to look
Right.
around and look for job applicants that are suited. And there may
Certainly.
be in town, you don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, that would be wonderful if we did. I mean, certainly the benefit, there is a big benefit, you know, for people who are emergency responders to be in town.
Mhm.
So it was one of the changes about the fire chief relative to the radios and that whole project, because that's been completed. I'm not remembering what.
I'll find it. I took notes of it.
Well, that's
during-
okay, because we're gonna be talking about that next meeting anyway, correct?
Right, so that's fine.
I'll put it- Yep, yeah,
Let's not worry about that now.
okay. What else?
Here, I'll share again.
That's the only thing for job descriptions?
No, I'm sorry, the other question about job descriptions is we've, as the 9 people that we're focusing in on for on the salary charts, we had reviewed the tax collector and the treasurer's job descriptions and recommended changes. I think we should go through the rest of them that we are recommending changes on.
Yes.
Mhm.
And like looking at, so that would be, I think the 6 people, the 6 that you listed in the minutes, George, the accountant, admin, assessor, assessor's clerk, equipment operator, librarian, town clerk. Now the admin assessor's job description was reviewed 3 years ago and I think is up to date. So I don't think we need to do that one.
Yeah, administrative assessor.
Yeah, as well as the clerk. I think those 2 should be okay.
What
But
was
we
the
really
one?
need
What was the
I'm sorry?
second one?
the assessor's clerk,
Okay,
but the equipment operator and librarian and accountant, I don't think have been reviewed for a little bit. The town clerk was reviewed very carefully about 3 years ago before Grace started, so I don't think we need to do that one either. So I will send out those 3 as well as the fire chief for our next meeting. Does that make sense?
So
yes.
what 3 are the ones that have to be updated?
The accountant, equipment operator, and librarian.
Okay, thanks.
So that it'll be 4 in total.
So you can send those ahead for our next
Yeah.
meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's because they're due for an update? Is that what it is? I mean, why these?
I think it's just because we're recommending these other changes, we want to make sure that, because we want to just review them and make sure they're up to date at the same time, because they hadn't been reviewed for a while.
So for the other ones, I can say the others are up to date.
Yeah.
So just out of curiosity or a question, what do we consider up to date within the last 3 years? Are you saying, Becky? Is that?
3 to 5 years, I guess. I think that the goal used to be that we would review 1/3 of them every year.
Ah,
And that cycle lasted maybe 1 cycle.
uh-huh.
That's right.
And then with transitions and everything, it's just been more on an emergency basis or changes, like in the land use clerk was a new position, or, it's been for people leaving. And when the other part of the system is to, whenever somebody leaves, you review the job description before hiring somebody new into the position.
So do we have anything that says this was reviewed in 2018, or this was reviewed, this job was?
It's listed on the job descriptions themselves.
Good, okay.
It's right up in the header of the job description. It says reviewed and approved or something like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect, great.
Okay, so I'll get those all out to you guys.
Thanks.
Okay, so is this a good time to look at what George sent? You think?
Yeah.
Okay, or do you want to do look at the preliminary? No, let's do what George sent now.
I'm gonna stop share so George can if he needs to.
Okay,
Yes, be happy to. Let me know when it's ready, Becky.
I thought I was just sitting here. Thanks.
Well, I'm looking and it says that I'm disabled.
Sorry, George.
That's okay.
You're
Well, they can
on,
start.
George.
Okay, right there. Okay, can everyone see that?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
So I took the survey that we received and I essentially went to all the towns. Oh, wait. This is my big schedule. This is where I did all the positions, all these different positions. And I know you're familiar with this, but there they are. There's some that went down. I had some notes. So I'm not sure you want to get into that much detail. But then in this green section, you can see for all these positions, we have the average without the high and the low. I basically have a formula that looks to the right and it finds the high and the lows. And it takes those. And so I have an average with the high and the low. I have an average when I subtract the high and the low out. And then I have the median calculation. So we can kind of decide, we can kind of see how they look. In this case, it's pretty tight band. And, this seems to be the number that's most accurate. And then I updated the Shutesbury salaries for all the Shutesbury positions. And
Wow.
I highlighted the ones in red, the ones that were below average, I highlighted in red. And they were the same ones that we have been evaluating. They still are the same positions that are below the average, comparing 21 to 22. So essentially, all the raw data for analysis is up to date. I did not change our proposed amount, but these increases would have changed because this changed. And our effect on the budget would change because this changed. So this used to be what we were proposing last time. It was about $28,000 in additional budget amount. Now it's about $25,000 if we left these proposed amounts the same. Based on this budget, it's about a third of a percent on our budget is what we would be recommending if we proceeded with these proposed numbers, which are the numbers we decided on based on the 21 numbers.
Right. Based on the 21. Yeah.
Yes. And so the question is, do we want to change any of these based on this new information?
Well, it seemed like I was looking at these numbers. It seems like the accountant, administrator, assessor, and assessor's clerk are still a bit out of whack. Everybody else, the equipment operator and librarian are like within $1 of the average, but the accountant, administrative assessor, and assessors, well, not so much the assessor's clerk, that's about $1. But those two positions in particular, accountant and administrative assessor, are still quite a bit out of whack with the new.
And April, if you look at the accountant is a tricky one, but if you look at our proposals, we certainly were adding a
chunk.
Yes.
Absolutely, but we're still like what, $10, $9, $8 less than the average.
$9, $9.
Yeah.
What the problem with the accountant is, most of the towns are outsourcing what they pay for.
That's
they're
right.
outsourcing to third parties. They're paying third parties to do their accounting for them.
That's
These
right.
two towns are doing it themselves.
That's
These two towns are doing it themselves. All the rest of them are paying about $71 an hour for
And
the
is that-
service.
Is that the same as for the assessor's position, or is that also being I'd forgotten that.
Yeah, there is some leverage contracts, a number of orange contracts for assessor.
Assessor, where was
But
the assessor?
that's the fact. I mean, that's where you end up. You end up.
And I left those blank. So those that weren't are left blank. And you can see, yeah, Becky, there's very few that don't, but there they are.
So it sounds like our proposed changes sound like they are in line with the 22 numbers from FERCog.
I think so. Treasurer, town collector. Yeah, and the ones that still aren't, we're giving very sizable increases.
Right. Right. And we're not that far off. It's the accountant and assessors. If for towns that are paying for it through a salary, we're not far off at all. And we are giving a substantial proposed raise. Will these positions also be getting the COLA? Or is it either or? Or that's not, that's a separate problem.
I think
Well,
they should
no,
be getting the COLA.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, say that again, Becky.
I think they should be getting the COLA.
mhm,
Well, this is to bring them in line, right? This is to,
Yeah.
right.
right? And
Yeah,
that's,
they should get the COLA in future years, but I don't think they get the COLA this year.
Well, I would disagree.
Yeah, because that's going to make us
We're really, we're even farther behind because when we look at numbers next year, a lot of towns are going to increase over 3% at least or more. And we'll be even further behind, and we're already behind.
Well, I thought we talked about that when we did this, and we said, yeah, we should take that into account when we bring these numbers up. In other words, that would include, well, I don't know. I mean, to me, we have a sell job already to the,
Okay, my point is,
Tom,
so
is that what you were going to say, George, to the finance committee, FinCom?
yes, we're gonna
Yeah.
have to sell this to the FinCom. I
Right,
think we should not have the COLA added to this after we make these proposed rates. I think if we do anything, we should adjust these proposed rates. So we can just propose a rate and say, these are the new market value rates. So Becky, if you feel strongly that these are, or if we as a committee feel like these are 3% too low because they would have all gotten, say, a 3%, I
mhm.
think we should adjust that in here, because if we try to do both, I think we're going to get a lot of pushback.
yeah, Mike, I'm just thinking about it. So from my perspective, I have a 4% increase that was part of my contract
Mhm.
for this year. Because the increase that was recommended was split in two parts last year. So I'm not getting the COLA because I'm getting what's in the contract. And I know, just thinking my own experience that, say, the collector who's scheduled to get a 4.7 increase, she would have already gotten a 4% increase this year. So to take away her 4% increase, because it's the year we're going to give her a 4.7, it just kind of, there's something out of whack with that.
Well, it might also help if we, how much money would the 4% COLA, how much more would that be in addition to the
Yeah,
20?
let me see if I can find that schedule that we used to calculate last year's percentage and see if I can't figure out what this year's will be if we make that assumption that inflation last year was more than 4%, right? Pretty safe assumption.
yes, safe assumption. I've just done
Yeah.
some calculations for my own budget, so yeah.
And another thought, I don't know.
Here it is. Can you see it? You can't see it, can you?
No.
I just see a plus sign in the middle of the pink.
Yeah, no, you can't see what I've got. So, what was the annual increase last year? Does anybody know?
1.75, and it was about,
Got it. Okay, so I got it. All right, so I can do this calculation. So give me 1 second here. I'm going to cut and paste and put this on the schedule that we're looking at so you can all see it.
Okay.
So here we go. I'm going to just go into a white space down here. All right, so that's how we calculated 1.75. So if we do 2022, I'm going to put this over
I love watching you play with this.
That's fun to
What I
watch.
do. All right, so what am I trying to do here? All right, so I just want to save what I have here. So I'm just going to put this for 21 over here. All right, and then I'm going to take this guy and this does this. All right, so I'm going to copy that down. I'm going to copy this down, delete that, and this will be 4. If this was 4, I'm not even going to put a number here. We'll just say it went up by more than 4%, right? And then we use our cap, then that was year 2 from last year is now year 1, year 3 from last year is now year 2, and last year's year 3, 4%, we take the 3. So it's going to be at 2.4% this year.
Right.
I thought the cap was on whatever was calculated.
No, the cap was on any given year. We would not allow that year to be more than 4%. That's the way I
So,
remember it.
But we're only, but the number we're giving to people isn't,
Well, it will in time, Becky, because this 4% will stay in the average. And if inflation next year was to be
oh,
0,
that's awful.
well, we talked about this. There will, if you're in a period of high inflation, there's
Yeah.
going to be a lag on pay increases. But when
See,
inflation
I
goes,
thought that what couldn't be higher than 4% was what you actually used for that as the average.
that's not my understanding, but we should probably read it. That's not my understanding. And again, well, we talked about this, and we talked about in a period of high inflation, the employees' pay increases will lag the inflation. And when the inflation goes down, they will get better increases than the current year's inflation. And we can go back and read the minutes because it's clearly defined in minutes that we put together last year. To bring those up.
Right, because it would be a year or two, and then if the inflation went down significantly, that they would be a higher bump for the employees. That's where it would
Here we
make
go.
up.
Here we go. I got it. Give me 1 second.
Thank you, George.
So read this. Give me a second here.
There, yeah, the 3-year rolling average. Yep.
Okay, the CPI for a given year is more than 4%.
So we would never have lower than 1, and we would never have more than 4 for any given year.
But in extraordinary years, the policy could be overwritten.
Yeah, we'd have to get all 3 committees to agree in a joint session.
Well, that's going to be a nightmare.
Well, it is every year. That's why we wrote this policy.
Yeah.
It was always
So much
fun.
for that.
When the CPI for a given year is less than 1%, 1% will be applied for that year. And when the CPI for a given year is more than 4%, 4% will be applied for that year.
But it's a 3-year rolling average.
Yeah. So that's why I did this like that.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
So-
So that, okay.
Given that information, do we want to bump all these up by 2.5%?
Yes.
Definitely.
By how much, George? What'd you say? What was the
Well,
percent?
2.4. I mean, you know, what,
Okay.
Yeah. How much more would that be?
yeah, I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
So these are the, just bear with.
Yeah, I don't know. I shouldn't even be part. I just,
No, Becky, your input matters.
Yeah, you are. Well, what's important is you're also, you are, you supervise and work closely with all the,
employee. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you're the one who's going to have to defend these or, so 1.024.
Oh, no, if they get upset, they do call the select board.
Sorry, Melissa.
Okay, Becky and I tag team or have tag teamed. George, it's the nature of the position. It's fine.
Yeah, that's why I don't run.
You'll have to try it someday.
No,
Every other person here has been on the select board, but you, George. I just want
that's
you to-
crazy.
That is
Wow.
crazy.
You're
No
surrounded.
thanks.
I think George's might be the sanest one of us all.
Well, as I tell people, I contribute on the finance committee, so
You
that's.
and the personnel board.
No, you're,
And the personnel board.
Which is,
So there
George,
you go.
why
So-
we appreciate your input so much.
Thank you. I
All
appreciate
this.
that. So does that make sense? 2% of this would be, yeah, about 50. Yeah, okay. I'm just going to do a quick double check just to make sure my formulas are working.
So did you put the proposed plus the
Yeah,
COLA?
so what I did, so let me explain to everybody what I just did.
I
I
see. Yeah.
took our original proposed amount and put it in column G, and then I created this plus COLA, and I increased this number by 1.24%. All of these are higher by 2.4%. So if they
Okay.
got the COLA and our proposed amount, that's what their rate would be. And I'm saying we should tell the finance committee, we're proposing a new rate for these people, and they would not, and of course, because they're getting a new rate, we wouldn't have to calculate a COLA on last year's rate. And honestly, this COLA that I just added to this number is based on their new rate, not their old rate.
right. So what's the total? Is there a total for how much more
Yeah, there
that would
is. Yep,
cost?
yep. We just added $8,000.
But that's the COLA for everybody.
Mm-mm.
Yes, yes. So give me,
Oh, okay.
We only added 8,000 for the COLA for everybody?
well, yeah, it's for these people. It's for these positions. All
Not
these
for-
numbers, the increase in the annual budget, and these do not include the town administrator. One, two, yeah. Yeah, that would be the effect of this change relative to this year based on the hours they work is going to be that much on the budget. Now, let's check the numbers. So I'm taking this, I'm subtracting that,
Mhm.
I'm multiplying it.
By 15 hours a week at 52 weeks a year.
Exactly. In this case, it's 20 hours. Yes, exactly. And that's how I'm coming up with this 32.3.
And that would just be for these particular positions that we're looking at.
That's right. There's no formulas for these other positions. These are blank for the other positions.
And it's
Excuse
still
me.
only, it's less than 0.5%.
Mhm.
Yes, of our total budget. Remember, the finance committee is looking at increases in a few places this year. Trash hauling is going to be a big jump,
It's gonna be I can tell you, I'm on that committee, it's gonna be a big increase.
right? And then,
Unless we get creative, which they might do.
yeah,
Yeah,
I know there's a lot of
possibly.
chatter in town.
We're-
Yeah, use the woods.
Not that way.
I thought that's the reason why we have haulers, so we don't use
Yes,
the woods.
exactly. That was a commitment we made when I first was on the finance committee a bazillion years ago. There was a commitment to the town that we would have that.
Yeah, because April, I know because I know sometimes I'm going into the back country and there's, at the beginning of the trails, 10 yards into the woods, there's junk.
There's junk. Yep.
Or we used to find, how many sofas did we see on Montague Road one year?
That's right.
They were putting sofas out, not at anybody's house, just along the edge of the road.
That's random.
11 o'clock at night, pull up the dirt road and drop it off.
Yeah, so that
Anyways.
trash is gonna be a big item, most likely.
Yes, the finance committee's got a few things to deal with. The region is still a question mark. It doesn't look like we'll have a big increase in the region. We might still get a decrease. I don't think it's gonna
Okay.
be a huge number. But, the finance committee there's gonna be pushback from some members on the finance committee, as you can expect.
Really?
So
So,
George, can we look at the COLA separately for everybody?
just want
Or
to
is
keep
that
you with the
not
don't you
possible on
think.
this?
No, that's possible. No, that's possible. So the COLA. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. So the hourly increase would be, I gotta be careful where I put this. I'm holding the wrong keys, sorry.
Don't say sorry. I'm glad you can do it. I appreciate it.
Hmm.
Something's not working here. There we go. Oh, I see what the problem was. Okay. It's the height. Okay, so for the positions that we're going to make recommendations for, here's the hourly increase, hourly COLA only.
Okay. Oh, that's helpful.
I can convert that to dollars too, if you'd like.
That's okay.
Okay, so this, and this is good. I'll do a double check. This plus that, yep. All right, so it checks out. So basically column G and H equals column E.
G and H.
That's what we were proposing to change the rate to. With the COLA added to it, we get a new proposed
Okay.
rate. So if you'd like, I could make formulas to calculate what portion of this is, well, we already know. It was 24. I actually have the number.
Yeah, so it's about $8,000 increase.
Yeah, it was that number there. So, yep. There you go.
So how would that impact the other employees who we're not looking at their salary right now? And I'm trying to think who they are. Who would they be?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people.
So it's the,
All those not in red, right? Or-
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
No,
I think the hard part is for those folks whose salaries we're trying to get up to speed. It's hard for them to hear, well, yeah, we got you up to speed, but because of that, we're not giving you a COLA.
Right.
That's hard. And I can, George, I can see where you're coming from too. It's just real, it's, in other words, you feel like you're being punished in a way.
Mhm.
We can, we can let everybody know that we did a market analysis and we adjusted the market analysis to reflect 2023 market values. And so these are proposed rates based on the 2023 pay rates.
That helps. That
They
helps.
might ask us, how did you get to that? We can.
We'll figure it out. But for everybody else, that would include the COLA. The COLA is included in the FY23 for everybody.
Well, so that's the FY22 average. Here's what we're paying them. This number is going to go up next year by the 2.4% if that turns out to be our rate.
That's
So
right.
they're going to get the COLA. They're within market, right? This one's within market, and this number is going to increase next year. I hope that answers.
So if you added in the COLA increases for everybody, and the ones that we're not adjusting in addition to the ones, how much is that? If that makes, I'm just trying to get in, a real, because it feels like we're defeating ourselves if we don't go ahead and
Well, these people
also give the COLA, because
these people are going to get a COLA. They're going to get
No.
the 2 point.
No,
the people we're
The
making.
the ones that we are adjusting, market adjusting, right?
Because yes,
That's what you mean. Okay.
because they've been paid less than market value for years. And so we're going to bring them up to FY22 with the COLA, that brings them up to FY23.
Yes. So this would be market for FY23, right?
No, oh, yes, with the COLA, right. So if we don't have the COLA, then we haven't finished our job. We're a year behind.
Yeah.
And I
So
know,
this is our new proposed number then.
right, that's, I think we should go with the COLA for everybody. And I know that there's, I know
I'm just
that
saying,
there will
I'm
be,
saying should tell people that we built in.
Okay, one person at a time. George, go.
I'm sorry, April. No, April, you go. I apologize.
No, go ahead.
No,
I know what you're dealing with on the FinCom. I mean, there will
mechanically,
be-
well, I guess mechanically you could say we're going to adjust their previous year's rate for the COLA calculation, and we're going to calculate. Let me go to the very first one. For the accountant, we're not going to add 2.4% to this number here. We're going to add it to our proposed number.
Right.
Or we can tell everybody we're proposing a new market number for them,
Yep.
and it takes into account
The
a
COLA.
COLA, the COLA for next year. But from a mechanical point of view, the actual calculations, it's easier just to give for these 8 positions, or 9 positions, to the treasurer what the new rates are for these people. And then the treasurer just does a calculation for the rest based on the COLA. I mean, if you want to go it the other way, I guess that's okay.
Oh, I see
We
what
have
you're
to be
saying.
transparent anyways, so.
Yeah.
I'm the one who has to put it in the budget.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, Becky.
So I'm just, yeah, I agree. If we could adjust everybody, and then apply the COLA, it would be easier.
If we just used a number, it would be easier. If we said, these are the rates we're going to use for these people next year, knowing that we had the COLA built into it. If we tell everybody we're adjusting them for market and we're adding a COLA, I just think it's more ammunition to argue against. It's another thing that people argue against. Maybe not.
Well, a couple of people probably, yes.
I do like the explanation of that. This is the rate with the COLA factored in. I think it falls softer with those who might argue. Yeah, that, I think it falls softer than
I like that. I like that wording.
I
falls
do
softer.
too. No.
I think that's a good
But I
description.
think it sounds also more thoughtful on our committee's perspective that we took that into consideration
Right.
as well. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
my opinion anyway.
No, I think that's beautifully said.
I agree.
Wow.
So these are going to be what we're going to propose then.
Yep.
Yes.
Not this one necessarily. So, okay. What I'll do is I'll update this. I'll change this number on this one. This is what I sent everybody. So I'm just going to change these numbers to reflect these numbers, and I'll send it to all of you.
Thank you.
I'll put it in our minutes.
Okay.
And my only question would be then, how do we present this to the Finance Committee and the Select Board?
Right. Well, first of all, we should have all, the proposed FY23, including COLA, should be listed for every position. So for the positions who are not making a correction for, that should also be included, I think.
As to not confuse others with how, right, with some of them looking blank.
Yes.
Right.
So everybody gets the COLA. And, it's, you have to pay what people are worth. We have such good staff in our town. We're lucky.
Yeah.
And companies go through these market analysis and these comprehensive analysis all the time, So it's not out of the ordinary for towns to do it either. It's just the way of the world with trying to keep people.
And thanks to George and this committee, we're doing it without paying a consultant $60,000 or $30,000 because half of the work on that, we could have
And
paid
that's another way
30,000 just
to
with the information.
that's another way for us
That's
to
what you
say it.
present. Oh, sorry, Melissa, sorry.
That's okay. I was going to say that's another way for us to say it. We
Yes.
chose to do it ourselves to save consulting fees so that we're able to, do this for our employees, Like when you
It's
go
not
to
a
the store and
32
you save money, you start with that when someone asks you how much you spent. I saved $100.
So it's not
So we can-
$32,000 that we spent, it's the $30,000 we saved.
Right. So that we're able to make our employees happy and want to stay and
And keep, yeah, make our employees happy and therefore hoping to keep them.
Because if they were to leave, we'd have to start people at the average, I mean,
That's right.
or
That's right.
contract.
plus the training.
Mhm.
So are people on contracts excluded? Does the contract exclude adding in COLA?
No, everybody with contracts
They work it in.
have had a statement that says we brought everybody to that they would pay, that they would accept for the COLA that was given to all the rest of the employees, except for that, for my contract, and that didn't get the big bump because I was yelling at people, but it was kind of brought from the committee, the negotiation committee. So I have betrayed that comment, which I have fought for 12 years. But at the same time, it saves the town money because this way, the 1 year's increase was divided into 2, so I don't get the COLA for this year. So it's actually a savings for the town.
George, I see you're writing things down there. Write down that the contracted, other towns contract for much higher rates too.
Other towns.
Contract
All right,
service.
some towns
Yep.
contract services.
Most towns.
For much higher rates. We'll want to make sure we add that into that conversation.
So I want to go back to that, Becky. You say most towns. I know most towns do for an accountant. Is that what you mean? But for most of the other positions, I didn't see a whole lot of.
No, what I'm
people-
saying is the department heads usually are contracted. Like the highway superintendent, the police chief, the fire chief, town administrator usually have contracts. And they're usually not tied to an annual COLA that everyone gets. It's usually, that people fight for whatever they can get.
So maybe a better way of putting that then would be when towns contract for services, they pay much more per hour. So when towns contract for services.
Or
Training, yeah.
Or towns contracting for services pay more.
But we contract for services
Yeah.
and
Towns
Oh no, within this these with not like stuff we write contracts with. It's like the assessor or the ones that contract for the accountant and stuff. They're paying a much higher rate than we would be.
Yeah, well, which thing are we talking about? Are we talking about the
We're talking about-
contracts for the department heads, or are we talking about towns that pay third parties to perform
Pay
services?
third parties, so when they contract out their services. Yeah. Not contract with the employee, contract out services. So
Contract
third party
out, yeah.
services.
Contract out.
Many towns contract for services.
Contract out.
Back over
Or
there.
pay a third party.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna put in brackets.
I wasn't talking about our internal contracts, just,
Right. I don't know what.
I
confused
was,
me.
so I confused it.
no, that's
Many
okay.
towns contract out for
In fact, you have
services.
like contracts writing everywhere. You have contracts for this, contracts for that, so that's understandable.
They are everywhere.
Should even put profit. That's Benny's, by the way. I just
Yeah.
realized.
Well, they need
Benny's.
profit too.
Admin
Penny.
costs and profit. That'll teach you. All right, so pay for their worth. We still want to go with that, or is that covered in these?
I think it's covered in, yeah, I don't think you need to say that.
Yeah, I think the rest, I think it, yeah.
I think
You okay
it's,
with that? Okay,
That's, I feel like that's sort of emotional when you use those words, and
Yeah.
you don't want to be emotional, or you just
yeah,
want to.
right. I agree. All right, so we need to pay market value for employee retention. We need to pay market value for replacements. So we're gonna have to pay it anyways. It's gonna save us the cost of turnover. Limited pool, this is mine. So to me, for treasurers, collectors, and people of that nature, we're trying to hire people from finance backgrounds and accounting backgrounds. And in private industry, they get many, they can get a lot more money. I don't know how true that is, but if we don't pay market, we're competing not against other towns, not only against other towns. No, what I'm saying here, I'm sorry, it's a long day. Limited pool. There is a limited pool of people who have municipal experience and have the training that a treasurer needs. I could be a treasurer, but for me to be a treasurer for a town, I need to go back to school and take specific classes, right?
Yeah.
So,
It is very specialized. Yep.
and that's my point. We're pulling from limited pool, AKA we're competing with other towns for a limited pool. And so that's why it's important. I'm sorry. I know it's obvious.
Yeah, and that's true for the assessor, it's true for police, it's true for,
Yeah.
Fire, treasurer,
Highway, everything.
yeah,
Yeah,
most, just
firefighters.
about.
You take these positions, we people living in town take these positions for granted, but when it comes down to the nitty gritty, it's a lot of experience and a lot of know-how.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I think,
And the other thing we are in a national resignation. I think that's what it's been coined as. So, people are just up and leaving their jobs without notice, and just, for whatever reason, they're not moving on to another job, or they're moving on to a better job that's, in a very quick turnaround. So that's really where we are.
That's going to be on everybody's mind. So I agree. We should state it.
Yep.
Current labor market is limited.
national resignation? Is that what
National
you call it?
resignation. I've heard it on a couple of podcasts.
Yeah, me
now.
too. I've heard that too.
national resignation.
I had a friend who's a property manager, and of a property that the company owns. The property manager and the resident council just quit their job and didn't show up one day. Gone.
Wow.
And it's happened, and Amherst College is experiencing it too. People are just moving on, where we have a mass exodus. So
Yeah,
for
they say a
whatever
lot of
reason-
those people are going to other companies
Some
who
are,
are
yep.
willing to pay much more
Right,
because companies need employees, and so they're paying more.
right. And if you need childcare, that could be 30% of your income.
Or you want to work
Especially with-
remotely now. Yep.
Right. Right.
And the Build Back Better didn't pass, so the tax credits that parents were able to get, those disappeared.
So I think.
Okay, no, I think that's really important. I'm glad we brought this up. Current labor shortage is really, I think that puts it in perspective, really.
Right. So you
Yeah.
got to keep who you have, because it's your best benefit to do that.
Well,
Best
and
advantage.
we have really good employees.
Mhm.
I mean, how much money does it save us to have, the financial team on top of things, so that we're not, going through some of the stuff other towns have. I mean,
Huge. It's absolutely huge.
and so, there will be pushback. There's some people, in the finance committee who really hold a line of, no increases really, and you need that voice, but I think this is more important.
Well, this is what our position is. So I'm going to put these in the minutes as, I'll write something up about we increased, and I'll list the positions. And I'll incorporate these in the minutes for our review.
Great. Thank you.
And let me just go back to this real quick. So, okay, like I said, I'll update this and send it to everybody, including this information, which will now be 32,353. Okay, I'll incorporate this in the minutes.
Nice.
All right.
All right.
Anything else?
That's awesome.
Yes, it
Okay.
is awesome. Thank you very much.
Oh, you
I
guys
feel
did a good
like
job.
I feel like we've untangled a huge knot.
Yeah, that's a
know.
good way to put it.
Really, this is clear.
Excellent, excellent. I feel good about it.
Yeah.
And George, your spreadsheet is more impressive than the ones I'm looking at in the $60,000 report.
Oh, is that true? Well, I had a lot fewer positions to deal with. Yeah, I'll tell you what, the real work was, oh, where is it? Entering the data.
Yeah,
Oh, God, yes.
that takes the
Not
longest.
fun.
Yeah.
Not fun.
But then, George, I have a feeling you like manipulating it and seeing what numbers pop out of that data.
Well,
after you-
yeah, when I get to this part, it's fun. Yes. Yeah, once I got past that, it was okay. Yes.
I'm the same way.
Could
Yeah,
you,
oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure you do that. Okay, so you want me to give up the screen?
no, I just want to ask you a question before you do. How many positions do we have listed here? Because I counted 23 that I think,
I
And-
don't think I have 23. I think I have, here, I'm going to give you the count. We have less than 23.
19.
We've been
18,
looking at 10.
right,
well, the 9 that were red.
Right.
right, but there's 18 positions I have on this schedule.
Let me just, 18 positions. Let me
If you
just,
want, Becky, I can copy and paste this and email it to you, and you can just see which ones I might be missing. I bet you I'm missing the highway chief, the fire chief, clerk.
I think it's the library assistant librarian
That's
Right
right.
here.
there.
Right there.
But we don't have, we have librarian like clerks, the people, the substitutes, librarian substitutes
Okay.
is one.
Is the sergeant listed as a second, or does that covered under patrol officers?
We didn't really do sergeants. No, we didn't. That's
And we
good.
have a sergeant job description and position, and actually the acting chief is being paid as a sergeant right now. So we probably should add that.
All right, so you're telling me you want to update this analysis to add,
Well, I just want to, I think yeah, I'm just realizing that, yes.
Yeah,
is that how you spell sergeant?
pretty
I
much.
think there's a couple different ways.
And
Take out the
library-
E. I think it's SARGENT. Take out the A,
Well, here, I'll tell you what I'm going to,
sergeant.
No,
Yeah,
you
spell
can
check it.
spell it that way too, Peg.
Oh,
Yeah, a
well, I'm
police
going with,
sergeant. A
I'm
police
going with the
sergeant is spelled
Microsoft
slightly
spelling.
different. Yeah,
okay.
police sergeant is spelled a little bit different.
Interesting.
Yeah, is there anything else we're missing?
I can tell you in just a minute.
Microsoft wants to
trying
use
not
an E.
What?
Microsoft wants to use an E.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
Or is it
Bill
this
Gates-
one?
I've never seen it spelled that way.
Hang on 1 second.
I ran into it in contracts.
Go this way?
I
Yep.
spelled dog on something too.
Either way is fine.
Okay, that's the way it's going to be. All right, anyways, all right. And what was the other ones? They were library,
Library
not
clerks.
assistants.
Clerks.
Library substitutes, they
No
call them.
subs. Okay.
I'll call it both. All right,
So police
I
sergeant
can add
can be
those.
spelled either way. Just to add that, it can be spelled either way.
I learn something new every night.
You
Every
do?
meeting. Yeah, every meeting I learn something.
It's a good attitude.
Now, where's that list? I thought I
Got to
put
get something out of this. All right, I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
Come on, George, it's just give.
No. As a person over the course of my life, I have benefited tremendously by being a volunteer for this town, and I mean that. I know that's true. I've learned
It
from
is
working with a
fulfilling,
lot of
yeah.
good people. Becky, for sure, you and the rest of you, really.
We've been in this.
Okay, so I'll add these to the analysis. I'm gonna hope that they are within market range. If they're not, we might have to review this one more time and see what our new number is if we decide to propose any other.
Right.
So we're not necessarily done. So I will make a note to do this.
And here I come with 3 more. Oh, the cemetery groundskeeper.
Ah,
Well, now, before we do that, the cemetery groundskeeper,
That is contracted, isn't it?
What? No, it's hourly.
It is, okay.
give me one
Oh,
second. Because
Yeah.
I don't see that listed as a position on the FERCog report. You can't see it, but I'm looking at it right now. And under C, there's town council, collector of taxes, and
And
custodian, but,
what we've done,
Groundskeeper.
what
all right,
we've
let me
done-
look at groundskeeper, okay. Yeah, I think that is on here now that you say that. I think I did see that when I was going through this, and I blew right by it.
and the other two are the MLP manager and the recycling coordinator, which is a stipend position. So
Do we have the firefighters on this?
we don't need the recycling coordinator because it's a stipend position.
Okay, and the firefighters. Is
Yeah,
that,
they're
that's,
paid for training
firefighters.
per hour. They're paid training per hour, right?
They're,
Yes,
paid-
they
yeah,
are.
I don't
Yes.
remember.
We moved away from.
There's no
stipend.
groundskeeper on here, by the way.
All right, I didn't know.
You
if
know
there
what we've done? We've always kind of used the same rates as for the custodian. I don't know if
Okay.
that's a good thing to do, but I think that they were lumped together at one point. So we don't need to add them. We can just do that.
Oh, we've got Parks and Rec Commission staff, lifeguards, recreation clerk, no, nothing about cemetery. All right. I'm still looking. Yeah, I don't see anything about cemetery staff for us to compare to.
Okay, so we don't need to add that. But I think, what about MLP manager?
Let me look. That would be under municipal light department, right? Municipal
Yeah.
light. I didn't see anything like that, but here, give me,
Yeah, Becky, I just had a chance to go over that real quick. Did everybody see that, what Becky sent?
no.
MLP, that's something we're really gonna need to.
Yeah, it's a new email.
That
From
should be
Steve.
Sorry, Becky, go ahead.
Oh, I
when did you
see.
send it?
I have not opened it yet.
Just before the meeting.
Oh, I see. Yeah, no, I haven't looked at it either.
So
Yeah,
that needs
I
to go
saw
on
it.
our agenda, Becky, for next week, next month.
Yep.
And
Discussion.
based on what that says, do I need to add that position as well?
Yep.
Huh.
But you know, what I'm not sure of is, yeah, because if the MLP board can make that decision independently, I think they can because they're separate.
Oh, sort of like the library commissioners?
No, because the library has always acquiesced to the town.
Huh.
You
So
know,
how do
they,
Becky, how do we find out about that? How do we find out how that?
I'll check, I can find out. But they are asking for the personnel board to review the job description changes, so I think it's important that,
Yeah, the question is, what are we going to use to, because for the MLP, there's nothing on the FERCog report, so we're going to have to get that information from somewhere.
there might not be any parallels that we,
No.
I know Roe has an MLP manager, but because the list, they don't request the information on the FERCog schedule, so I can just call the towns that I know have them. And I think Steve kind of outlined some of them already in his report.
Yeah.
I hadn't had a chance to read it, but you'll contact Everett, right?
Well, Steve already reviews what's paid there.
Uh-huh, okay, I didn't have a chance to read it. I just saw it.
I mean, I can call Leverett and just be sure.
So Becky, if you do that research, send me the results and I can incorporate it into this.
Hmm.
Okay.
And I'll do the police sergeant and I'll do the library substitute clerks.
But this really is a huge increase being proposed, isn't it?
Yes. Like
0.5% on our budget. And remember the COLA at 2.4%, Becky, what, with everybody, that would be about 25 to 30,000?
No, I think it'll be closer to 20.
Okay, and these people would be out of there because theirs is already counted in this 32. So if we took them out, what would that number be? I know you know, what do you think?
It's
What do you-
almost half of them.
Okay, so another 10. So we're looking at potentially $42,000 COLA increase this year
Wow.
compared to a 20,000 would have been a normal year. So basically we're doubling that piece.
But we're doing much more than COLA.
Yeah. Yes,
Maybe
we are.
on this sheet, George, where you have the numbers where the 34 and such were the 32,000, maybe if you split it out to be what the proposed increase is, just to off, so we know what it is. Does that make sense? So what the on the ones that are red,
That was
what
the
that would be.
24,674, right?
Yeah, so
Okay.
what we were talking
Okay,
about
I'm sorry,
was,
it just wasn't noted. Okay, that's fine.
oh yeah, in total, that's what we had when we didn't have the COLA.
Right, okay.
And so the
You
COLA,
could write that number right below proposed. I think that was the total of proposed, wasn't it?
Perfect. It helps when you look at it to remember what that number is.
Mhm.
Thank you, George. I appreciate that.
you're welcome. Yeah, no problem. That's why we did it. So state the obvious, COLA portion.
Yeah, but it's not everyone's COLA.
It's
No.
just for the proposed positions.
So that could be plus 10, right?
Yes.
Where's all this money gonna come from?
Now, wait a second, though. So. If this is about half of
No,
them,
that was the, oh, never mind. You're right, George.
so if this is about half of them, this number seems a little low to me. But that's okay, because that's all based on this.
It's because not only one department head is included in there, and the department heads are the biggest numbers.
Yeah, okay, all right. They're not in that COLA calculation because they're already under contract.
Right.
Okay, got it. All right,
And-
so my assignment is 2 positions, add to this. If they end up being below market, I'll let y'all know, and we can talk about it in
Yeah.
our next meeting. If they're not, then we
Okay.
can probably go what we have here. This is what I'll send out to everybody once I complete that analysis. And I put in the minutes the reason for our recommendations.
Great.
And so after next meeting, will we be ready with our proposal for the FinCom?
We need to be.
Yeah.
You have to be, yeah.
Our next meeting is until what, February?
Let me check.
17.
February 17th.
Yes, yes.
So is that, if we wait till March, is that going to be too late for the FinCon?
Yes.
Well, is there any reason why we can't have it done for
No,
the
they just
17th?
need it in March.
But we still need to have the 3 committee meeting, don't we?
No, that's why
Yeah,
we
we
did the
ruled-
new
that's why
thing.
we- formula.
Okay,
But now
Remember,
we
they
have to
said they
do
were
it.
comfortable with us doing it.
Now that we have the formula resolved, we have this new initiative, so we still have to have a 3-board meeting.
well, I mean, the thing is, if we're talking about proposed rates, I think we're gonna need to have a bigger, I think the personnel board is gonna have to be there. It shouldn't just be Melody and me and Becky, I don't think.
Oh, no, it should be the 3 committees
should be
to
all of us.
discuss it.
Right.
And I
That's
think
only
you
fair.
use it as an opportunity to present the COLA and where it came out this year and what it is, and then roll to this one.
Yep.
So then Becky Becky and Melissa, then you would be able to schedule that meeting sometime between February 17th and, after February 17th?
Yeah.
And we should be able to wrap this up on Feb. We should make it a goal of ours.
Yes, we
I think
should.
we can, yeah. And I'm out of town the end of March, but I suppose I could Zoom from anywhere, right?
You can Zoom from anywhere.
Like, if you're on vacation, it might be harder to do.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
I might be out of town in the end of March also. So we should be looking.
Earlier.
Okay, so what are the dates you guys are out?
When
Oh,
do we leave, Mike?
We leave the 16th.
Yeah, the 6th, so I might, so the 17th doesn't work for me. I don't know about
it won't
anybody.
work for me either.
Well, it's a holiday. It's St. Patrick's Day, so we can't have a meeting on a holiday.
So, oh, yeah,
Big
how about
green
the,
beer.
well, so can everybody meet? Let's go with February 17th first. Can everybody still meet on the 17th?
Yeah,
Okay, so how about March 10th, which is a week earlier?
I'm pretty sure, we haven't firmed up plans, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna be gone a little more than 2 weeks in March. But I have joined meetings via Skype or whatever before.
Okay, I
I'm
might,
in the same boat.
Know the date you're leaving yet, April?
I think it's, right now we're March 9th and coming back the 27th.
Oh, my goodness.
I
So,
know,
Where you going?
Puerto Rico.
Oh, nice. Where do you?
Yes.
nice.
We're going to go to Vieques.
Oh, yeah,
And
nice.
do
We
a
go to
little
Puerto.
traveling in the island, and this is what retired people do.
Yeah, good for you.
Well, not all of them, but
Some of us, I know,
the smart ones.
though with the
Yep.
stock market right now, it's like, but
Yeah.
just, I'm not watching anyway.
I might be traveling too, but I definitely will be able to chime in, log in.
Yeah, I could if need be, absolutely.
I might, or I might not. I think we're going to be, we're leaving the 16th. We're heading to Colorado.
Well, let's try the 10th. You know us, it's not gonna work. Something's gonna come up and we're gonna have to change anyways. So I'll put the 10th in the minutes for now.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
I'm not traveling in March.
But you got spring break. Oh, wait, no, you work.
Wait, yeah, I
spring
work
break.
through spring break. That's for the students.
Yes.
So April, when did you say you're leaving, April? You're
Right
leaving?
now, it looks like we're leaving March 9th
Oh,
to
shoot.
the
We think-
27th. So,
Okay.
but I certainly can travel if I have Wi-Fi.
Well,
Maybe I
and the
won't have
issue is not
Wi-Fi.
when the personnel board can meet. If the question is, when can all three boards meet? So I think, Becky, somebody is going to have that conversation and throw out dates to all of us, right?
That's right. That's right. Because it might be a select board meeting that the other two boards come to.
Yeah.
Right,
But
and
We have a select board meeting after the 10th, like the 15th. I don't have them all on my calendar. I apologize.
Like I said, for us, it can be anytime after the 17th of February because we should be able to wrap this up on the February
Right.
17th.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
17th.
so we meet March 1st. And 15th.
So why don't we make a goal of March 1st? Then we'll be done.
I think that works for me. Check.
But we could still meet March 10th because April and I are trying to hammer through all the
Yeah.
classification stuff.
Yes.
Got it.
That makes sense.
So in fact, what I'll do is in the minutes, I'll put the caveat that the March 1st meeting is actually with FinCom Select Board.
Does FinCom normally meet on Tuesdays
Yes,
Yes.
and select?
so
board-
does select board. Yep.
Oh, so maybe March 1st will work then.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Yeah, that would be great. And for the FinCom, it would mean just we all log into a Select Board meeting at a specific time and then go back to our meeting. Keep moving.
We'll just say goodbye to all of you.
All right.
Wait, George, you
Yeah.
don't have a meeting that day, do you?
I have no idea.
No, you don't, because I can't
Oh, okay.
be at both. I can't be, there's only one
That's
Zoom.
true. Right. Of course. So the FinCom and the personnel board would just have short meetings that day.
Right.
And I won't put a time on the first, Becky, I guess you'll let us know what the time will be.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to today's agenda, which I don't have in front of me.
Oh, hold on.
All right, I'm giving up, I'm relinquishing my screen.
Okay.
Thank you so much, George. That looks really good.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your help.
So Becky, where are we on the agenda, which I don't have?
I just am waiting for, I have it here, but I think you're
On the
almost
screen.
done. The
We did-
classification, the classification came after the salary chart, but we already did the update on both of those.
Yes,
And we've already scheduled the next meeting.
So we're done.
So
Well,
for
brilliant.
classification schedule, for classification schedule, we located the Amherst schedule. We're going to talk to the HR associates. For the job description, it was the fire department and the equipment operators, librarians, and accountant are overdue for a review. And then there was the salary chart. And that's what I have in the minutes.
Beautiful.
Okay, good. I appreciate you just.
all right, so did we ever, didn't we decide to not approve the minutes until the end of this meeting? Isn't it?
Now
No.
to the next
No.
meeting.
We punted.
Because I need to look at the recording of the last meeting to
Right,
fix one of the
okay.
items.
Great, okay. So
You guys keep me busy.
are we all set to adjourn this meeting?
Yes,
I think so.
so moved.
So moved, okay, all those in favor?
Second, overnight aye.
Okay,
Thank you.
Ross, aye,
Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
Stein, aye.
okay.
Thank you.
Good
Have a great
work.
night.
So
Awesome.
Thank you, everybody.
Enjoy the
Bye.
snow.
17th,
Yes.
good night.
Bye.
Good night.